Coming up today, it was a life-saving birthday gift from one sibling to another. Today, we meet the brother and sister now closer than ever after a kidney transplant helps one build back strength, independence, and their life. And meet the team of experts who helped make it all happen. Good morning, I'm Jessica Lovell, and welcome to the Morning Medical Update. Bree Bauer has faced immense challenges over the past 2 years when a raging infection eventually took her limbs. She's worked hard to figure out a new way of doing things, but she's doing it, though, with determination, strength, and in this case, patience. After a wait on the kidney transplant list, it was her big brother who stepped up big time to help get Bree back to her life.
She's always had a extremely stubborn streak.
Bree Bauer and her oldest brother, George, have a pretty typical sibling bond.
Yeah.
It's always been solid, but now it's simply unbreakable.
He's a match!
This gift of life started with a sister thrust into the national spotlight. In 2024, Bree nearly died after contracting a rare infection, 27 weeks pregnant with her youngest son, Bo.
They're like, we just need to do an emergency C-section right now. We got to get him out.
Bo was fine. But in order to save her, doctors at the University of Kansas Health System had to remove Bree's limbs. Her family felt helpless.
Very, very difficult to just have nothing you can do to change an outcome.
There's going to be a way to do it. It's going to take some time to figure it out.
But Bree is making what to many would appear impossible.
There we go. And voila.
Seem possible.
If I can't do something, I'll kind of look around and see what are my resources. I'm not going to let it bring me down or make me feel sad.
Mom to Barrett, Brooks, and Bo.
Hi, Mom. Thank you, thank you.
She's a wife, she's a content creator, and a quadruple amputee.
Whoa! That has been the hardest, is just redefining who I am as a mom. Let me see the club. Thank you.
Life is different now.
I did it!
Having two older brothers that would pick on her, she would just fight.
Yeah! There we go.
Aggressively, to the point that we're no longer picking on her, because she would hit with extreme force, like you knew you weren't going to break her.
And neither would this. Hours of weekly dialysis after the infection wore down Bree's kidneys.
The biggest limitation it has is time, and you can't get back time. Either that being time where I don't feel, crappy after dialysis, time with my kids, time with my family. That is what dialysis is taking away.
She needed a kidney. Bree was placed on the transplant waiting list. But if you know Bree,
there is a video that we did, just me and my girlfriends, trying to educate people and having them ask me the same questions I've been getting online. But we really just had fun with it.
But it's a waiting game.
Nationwide, I only had an 11% chance that they would find a match for me.
Bree was losing hope.
Once my sister, she found out that she wasn't a match. When I learned that, I was crushed because I really thought that that would be the perfect match.
Bree's birthday came. Still no kidney prospects.
That day I had rehab, and then I also had to do dialysis, so I was just exhausted.
That's when George FaceTimed from Colorado.
Here's a coupon for one pre-owned kidney, redeemable at any participating KU medical establishment. I love you so much, Bree, and would feel absolutely honored to be a part of this opportunity. Happy birthday, your big brother.
I still don't believe it. Honestly, once it really hits you, the first emotion you have is you are guilty. You feel so guilty that this has to happen.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
George remembers unbelievable joy.
You are a perfect match for your sister. I'm just like, say that again? Love you, Bree.
And in a matter of weeks, Bree received her brother's kidney.
You don't really get this many opportunities to do something meaningful, to have a chance to do something, make a sacrifice, you know, and to have that be for a family member is just that much more impactful.
Nice job! I am thankful for what I used to have. I'm thankful of the things I accomplished before I got sick.
Do you see a rainbow anymore?
And now I'm just really excited to see what I can accomplish now.
And we are so excited to have Bree joining us from her home in Bucyrus. Always great to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And we're so glad to have Bree's brother, George, also joining us from his home in Colorado. George, how are you doing this morning? That's okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here.
Good. Well, we're so glad to have you, and we're so glad to have a big part of the team who made this transplant possible. Transplant surgeon and chief medical officer, Dr. Sean Coomer, joins us. Director of transplantation, Dr. Tim Schmidt, and transplant coordinator, Samantha Brenner. Glad you all could be here today.
Thanks for having us.
Dr. Coomer, how are you?
Doing great, thanks.
Good, good. Well, Bree, I want to start with you. Can you kind of explain what the biggest difference is in your health now that you've had the transplant? Like, what are you able to do now that you couldn't do before?
Again, it's given me time to now focus on myself and just creating my identity again, and focusing on my foundation and focusing on the kids without feeling like I'm gonna, pass out every time after. I would feel like that after dialysis. And I just go back to time, because that is one thing you can never get back. And I feel good. People ask me, if it was an immediate thing where I felt better immediately. And that's true, but I still have lost 4 of my limbs. And so I don't go back to, normal. I'm still figuring that out.
Yes, this new normal that you've been figuring out for the last couple of years. And you look great this morning. George, you've watched Bree's story unfold with so many unknowns along the way, but this was kind of something you finally had control of in a way. How did you make this decision? How did this all come about?
Well, the decision to do it really wasn't something that was, quote, like made. Once we found out that it was a possibility, that was sort of a foregone conclusion. We were just going to go ahead and move forward with it. In terms of the control that we had, a big thing was around timing. My wife was due with our second baby, and that was going to be end of May. And so we found this out earlier in the year, and just really trying to coordinate with the team to make sure that I would be capable of kind of being a present, father to a newborn, and give myself enough time to recover from the surgery.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about that this morning, and that's why we have Samantha, our transplant coordinator, here to kind of help navigate all this, because this really starts with you. Explain your role as a transplant coordinator, and where does the search begin?
Well, it has to start with the recipient. Bree has to get the word out there. I can't go out there and seek people, but once she gets the word out there, they call me. I guide them through the process and just kind of help them go through the evaluation and hopefully get approved, and then schedule the surgery and coordinate all of that.
And pretty typical to check out siblings, correct?
Yes, and yeah, all of her siblings, and a lot of family members, rushed right into, try to donate to her.
So what made finding a match in Bree's case unique? Because of her circumstances, aside from finding a living donor, she was also on the waiting list.
Yeah, and so Bree she had a high antibody level, likely from like blood transfusions, being pregnant. So she was just harder to match. So I always advised anyone that called for her that there's a good chance that you won't be a direct match and that we would have to do paired, which she did actually have a friend in paired, and nothing had kind of came up. And then I got George's cross match back, and I was just so shocked that he was a match and a perfect match.
You were excited to make that call.
Oh,
with
yes.
George.
I was so excited to tell him. Yeah.
Yeah, George, you remember that call well, right?
Oh yeah, very much so. I was on actually a hike with my wife at the time, and yeah, I mean, it was just like a perfect day. And the call came through, and we just sat there and paused for a good 15, 20 minutes, sort of in disbelief that it actually happened.
Right, and all along, Bree not knowing any of this quite yet. So we're going to get to that part of the story in a moment. But Dr. Schmidt, you were Bree's surgeon. Knowing Bree's complex case, what considerations needed to be taken ahead of surgery, during and after surgery?
Well, yeah, she's been through a lot, so she's had multiple operations on lots of different things. So anytime you have a reoperation, it's complex. And then the blood flow to the new kidney comes from the blood vessels that go to the leg, and if you don't have that there, then the blood vessels get smaller. So we had to do some challenging surgery just to get the space for the kidney, and then the blood vessels were challenging. And then her core strength, that's all she has, her core strength, and we have to go through the core muscles, and so she has to recover from that as well with the core.
And we're looking at actual video from inside the OR that day, both with our doctors and Bree and George. Dr. Coomer, we always say that you have one of the most stressful jobs at our entire hospital because you're operating on a perfectly healthy patient like George, right?
Yeah, it's a true honor to do this, right? Honor, doing an operation on someone that doesn't need an operation. That sort of violates our first premise of first do no harm. We're doing harm, but we're doing that willingly to save someone else's life. So it's an honor to do these cases, and George is a hero to his sister, that's for sure.
And I have to kind of call you out a bit. You're a little emotional watching that story. What does it mean to you to watch this unfold and just to be here today with all of us together talking about Bree and George?
Yeah, I think something got in my eye. I don't know what you're talking about there.
Of course.
Jess, but it's hard not to internalize these stories. I'm a big brother, so I'm really close to my sister, and it makes you think about some of your family ties, and to see George being a big brother to his sister is just a really touching story. So,
well, I may tell a few people today. I made Coomer cry. I hope you don't mind.
No, it was George and Bree, not you, Jess.
It's Bree's fault. We're going to blame Bree today. I like that. So explain how you both work together, though, side by side, the separate ORs to make sure that this kidney transplant is pulled off successfully. Explain kind of what's going on in there.
Well, here you see the donor operation going right now. Dr. Schmidt and I have been working together for a number of years. We probably don't want to share how many as we've gotten older, but this is, we basically know each other's moves and the timing of these operations and what works for preparation of the kidney to be donated next door. And here you see Dr. Schmidt bringing the kidney from one OR to the next. So we timed that operation. Obviously, the donor, George, in this case, went back earlier. We got started. And at some point during the case, usually Dr. Schmidt will pop his head into the room and see where things are. And then he'll make his decision when the recipient comes back.
We want to show that moment when you remove George's kidney, finally. I think we want to take a look at that when we can, and just what's happening. I would ask Dr. Schmidt, because you're waiting literally just feet away to take it from there. So tell us what happens in your OR, how long it takes, what's going on next door.
Yeah, depending on the challengingness of the recipient, we time to bring back that patient at a certain event during his OR, so we don't have her in the OR too long, and we don't have the kidney out of the ice too long. So we brought her back, got everything prepared, and then Sean was ready to take out the kidney. So when I get the kidney, I have to cool it down with the preservative and then prepare it to sew back in by dissecting the blood vessels and make sure it can have a place to go. So it's just a lot of moving parts, but it seems like it's seamless now because, yeah, it's been about 20 years that we've worked together,
okay.
I feel like.
The truth
I don't know,
comes
it's a
out.
long time.
Well, Bree, I have to ask you, because you took to social media to educate on kidney donation. Explain why that outlet was so important for you and kind of what was your takeaway from it?
I mean, it still is. important for me to try to get this out there because there are hundreds of thousands of people that still need kidneys. But when it was more personal for me, and at that time, before I really put out the word, I thought none of my siblings matched. But little did I know George had, a couple more tests to complete. And that I was on the news, in tears, saying that I needed a kidney. And it sounds like, a lot of people came forward. But then we learned that George was a perfect match. And when he told me perfect match, I was like, nah, doctors don't use that word. There's nothing that's ever like, but this was perfect.
Perfect. It was perfect, perfect surprise. Dr. Schmidt, explain for those who don't understand kidney disease and just its specific challenges for patients. Kind of educate us on it.
I think the big thing is kidney disease, when you get to dialysis, impacts quality of life and time, the two things that Bree was talking about. I mean, if you have to spend 9 hours a week on a dialysis machine and you feel terrible before and you feel terrible after, well, you've lost 3 or 4 days of your life out of 7. So time is a big problem, fatigue, and just, you don't feel like you have enough energy. So the impact on your quality of life is significant with kidney disease.
Samantha, who out there makes a good match? How could somebody perhaps watching our program today learn more about living donation?
Well, there's, lots of resources online at KU. They would give us a call, if anyone was interested or just wanted information about kidney donation. As far as making a good match, I think that's just kind of up to DNA. But the most important thing is being healthy and being able to live your life, with one kidney. And that's kind of our main focus for a donor.
George, I have to ask you, just emotionally, what has this experience been like for you? And then explain how you're doing physically now.
Well, emotionally, during this entire thing, like the volume, I guess, emotionally got turned up. You just look at your family, your wife, your child, with a bit more intensity, because you kind of realize that you're going into a situation where things will become more fragile. Physically, I mean, if you didn't tell me I had donated a kidney, if I didn't know, I wouldn't know. I feel totally back to normal. Outside of just occasionally checking, I have a rambunctious 2-year-old that will jump on me periodically, during recovery. So I'm still kind of terrified I'm going to blow out a hernia or something. But other than that, doing great.
Fantastic. Dr. Coomer, I know you have to get going here in just a couple of minutes, but before we let you go, I have to ask you, what do you want the big takeaway to be from Bree and George's story today? Because I know you always explain who the real hero is in these cases, and I just wanted to give you a moment to talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, it's a true honor. Tim and I are really just the vehicles to help people and help this occur. And the true heroes are always the donors, whether living or deceased. In this case, obviously a living donor. It's something you get to see and enjoy, and you see that you can see the smile on Bree's face, and just the time that she's gotten back and the quality of her life has improved. And I think it's really important to note that everyone should take pause and think about how they can help everyone. Be a donor, sign your donor card. So if you're a deceased donor, or you can donate tissue, those are important things so other people can live their lives. And if you can be a living donor, please reach out, think about it, get educated. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but please get educated about that. And our folks like Sam and her partner Liz do this every day, and they're great resources. So please look into it.
Dr. Coomer, always great to have your expertise. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. You all take care. George, Bree, congratulations, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Well, be sure to ask your questions. Use the chat on YouTube or Facebook. You can also email the Medical News Network. All of that information is there on your screen. We want to show the video that, Bree, you made actually during this surprise moment when you were kind of processing what was going on when George revealed that he was going to be your donor. Can you kind of sum up the look on your face that we're seeing? What was going on?
I mean, it took me back to when I was actually still in the hospital initially, and learning about kidney disease and where my kidneys, were at, where they weren't going to work anymore. And we just discussed transplant, and I was like, I am not going to let my siblings, donate to me. I just feel so bad about it. And with this video, you can see my wheels turning. But Reed and I were both in disbelief, especially, like I said earlier, when they say it was a perfect match. It's hard to really absorb it until it's been done. And, I didn't feel perfect right after, but just looking at my face on the video. But I mean, honestly, that's like what was going on in my mind. And then when I kind of took it in, you just start feeling guilty, with the fact that a loved one has to go through such a traumatic surgery. Luckily, George is healthy, strong, and the way because we talked later, and the way he explained his thoughts were really comforting, where I think you mentioned this before, there was no question. It wasn't even a question for him. I think of my dad, who passed a few months before I initially got sick, and just how proud he would be of George stepping up, just to help his little sister.
I'm glad you shared that part, because I know that was a big part of your story, and just feeling the love from your dad and just watching the bond between you and George unfold. And George, I have to say, because you've mentioned your two small children, you had one at the time and then one since, and I want to just take a moment to let you talk about your wife and the support during all of this time.
My wife she's a very tough cookie, and her support was unwavering, from the get-go. As we got closer, you could definitely see, like closer to the actual date of surgery, you could see that she had a bit of the nervousness creeping in. She would try to hide it as much as she could, but you can kind of sense it. But with it all, I will say that, again, talking about the fragility of life and such, like, it does sort of calm the noise around you. And between her and I, it gives you a moment to sort of like look at each other and appreciate each other in a way that you probably wouldn't have the opportunity to do so if you weren't going through something like this.
And Samantha, we touched on it earlier that George needed some special accommodations to happen, because again, he gets this opportunity to donate, but he's also got a baby coming just, a couple months away. This is part of your job, though, to help accommodate from both ends. How do you do that? How are you able to make those kind of things happen?
Well, luckily, the team at KU and the OR and Dr. Schmidt, we'll make things happen if we can. Bree, was kind of complicated and actually had another surgery planned, so we had to work with her other surgeon to make sure that this was the right thing to do and that George could be healed by the time, his baby was going to arrive. So it's the typical, but this one was just a little extra special.
A little extra special. I was going to say, this cannot ever get old for you, I would imagine.
This is how it always goes. If there's not some chaos, it's not a living donor transplant, so.
Dr. Schmidt, what's it like for you just emotionally? I know you do this every day, but it's got to kind of feel different each and every time, and then to watch everyone gather here today.
Yeah, I mean, it's always my favorite case, because to get to see somebody go from suffering to better, and it usually is pretty immediate. In Bree's case, I remember specifically, she looked at me in the eye and she said, usually when I have a surgery, I wake up and hear something bad. That's not going to happen today. And so there's extra pressure. I was like, okay, can't mess this up. So there was quite a bit of pressure, but everything seemed to go fine. we're tinkering with things now, but her kidney function is really good now, and she's doing great.
I think I kind of held my breath until the surgery was over. I'm like, please let it go good.
Well, and I was texting you off hours and just making sure everything was going good. So everybody pulling for Bree and George just to do well and to have this story end the way it has so far. Bree, I know your husband Reed is the other big hero in your life. We have to mention him. He administered your dialysis every time, hours a day. He's been your rock, as you said. How's he doing? How are the boys doing?
Overall, I think Reed's going back and playing tennis a lot more. It was a kind of sport that he played for years, and he got back in that because he has the time now. The kids are excited because when they hear, oh, I don't have to do dialysis, we can do something fun. And the best part was watching the machines be brought out of our, quote, dialysis room, which now we're in between the naming of the room, if it's like going to be an art room or just not the dialysis room. We're workshopping it right now.
Good. The anti-dialysis room. And I think you said you wanted to like run the machines over with your car.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, over my wheelchair. Like it's.
Yeah, exactly. Totally give it the business, for sure.
Yeah.
I want to get to some questions and comments from our viewers this morning, and we've got a great one from Nate to kick us off. Bree, this feels like a lot. My heart goes out to you. How have you found the emotional balance between these medical things that take up so much brain space against living life, doing the things that you love and bring you joy? And he says he's so glad to see you on the other side of this kidney transplant. But how are you balancing all of it?
Probably not in would a therapist say I'm doing it in the correct way? They probably say no. But I've had so much go on where emotion has been set aside almost. You could even say that I'm still kind of in shock, but I process things more than I allow emotion to come in. So when I'm looking at upcoming surgeries or just ongoing health, I think about what it's going to look like, and I always think of the worst outcome because for me, it will better help me mentally prepare for something like that. But right now, my therapist and I are trying to find that emotion part. I think I just use kind of like dark humor or just humor in itself, and trying to stay up to date and educated about what's going on with my health.
Sarah wants to know, does this mean that Bree will never have to do dialysis again? Please say yes.
I mean, that's the hope. I was thinking about the first kidney transplant the University of Kansas ever did was in the early 70s, and she died, I think, last year. So the kidney worked for 54 years. So with the perfect match, that was a twin to twin, but this is as good as it gets with a brother to sister, that hopefully this kidney will last a long time.
Well, Jennifer wants to know if George ever needs a kidney one day. The hope is he's not, because he's gone through so much pre-workup. But if he were, would he go to the top of the list because he's so amazing?
Yeah, the kidney donors will receive special privilege when they get back if they need a kidney transplant. It's not very common, but if they do, they would get special accommodations to be on the top of the list.
And again, it's not common because he's gone through so much
right, the
rigorous
selection
workup,
process
right?
is pretty vigorous, as he could account to. There's a lot of tests, a lot of scans, and he's otherwise really healthy, so he should be fine. But if he does need one, he gets extra credit.
He gets it on your schedule,
yeah.
on top of your schedule. And well, I just want to ask, Tiffany wants to know, actually, our last question is, how do you become a living donor? Just what is the process? What do you do? If somebody's just watching right now and goes, I want to do that, or I want to try to see if I can help.
Yeah, you would reach out to someone in Living Donor. There's a couple other people in the department with me, and we, start a health questionnaire and just guide you through the process. So really just like researching and then reaching out to a transplant center.
Well, we want to get our takeaways today. And George, I want to start with you. Just thanks so much for joining us this morning, and thanks for everything that you've done to make this all possible. What do you want the big takeaway from you and Bree's story to be?
Oh God, that's a big question. I don't know. My general takeaways with all this is probably just twofold. Just amazement that we have like the team, the technology to coordinate and put this all together. And then on top of it all, just gratitude that we have the opportunity to do something like this, something so complicated involving so many people, and schedules and talents and everything, and that it all just came together so smoothly. I can't thank the team enough for just doing what they do.
Well, we're so glad that you're with us and doing well today. Samantha, what's the big takeaway from this particular story?
I mean, every time I say that I have the best patients, people like George that don't even hesitate, to help someone that they care about, or even strangers sometimes in need. And, Bree was very hesitant to let someone that she loves help her, but, you have to let people help you. And I've heard donors say before, they'd be lying if they said they didn't get something out of this. So, what a great opportunity for George to help his sister.
Tim Schmidt, what's the big takeaway?
I think I'd echo what Sean said, but also when George talked about looking at life differently, take day by day. I mean, we see people with kidney disease, cancer, or whatever. And sometimes you realize that you're stressed about all this other stuff, but when you should just focus on what you got and be happy. And these two people have shown us that, you can, it's challenging, life can be challenging, but you can still find happiness.
Big perspective. Well, Bree, this is your big, beautiful story. I'm going to let you wrap us up today. And just what do you want people to really get from all of this?
In life, you want to make sure you have people around you that you can trust in case something like this happens, because support is everything. If I was, and I think about those patients who don't have that kind of support and what that feels like and the outcome of their life. To me, I feel like life is all about adapting, and for those who don't adapt to changes, they usually don't have a good quality of life, and I remind myself of that a lot, where it is what it is. I want to be here. It's a completely change in perspective and obviously physical changes, but I'm still here. And I'm so grateful that it's just still a shock that George and I are a match in that regard. But we consider ourselves twins now. But I think overall, you want to make sure you have a good team around you, even if you're doing okay. And especially with medical care. I've loved KU since I started working there. Actually, since I started nursing school there. And I really put my trust in them, and they came out, perfectly.
Well, we thank you just for sharing your story. And every single time you're on our program, we learn so much from you. So it's really our takeaway. And we appreciate you so much. And we will see you soon, right?
It sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, we will. And George, again, thank you so much for being here.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Again, thanks to all of our guests and thanks to our viewers for being with us today. Starting June 12th through July 10th, join me and Alexis Del Cid every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for live streams on YouTube and Facebook for special World Cup updates. The University of Kansas Health System is the official medical services provider for the Kansas City World Cup 2026 host city. We will have exciting content, lots of experts, and even weather updates to make sure visitors are prepared and are ready to enjoy their time here. as the world shines a light on the Kansas City Metro. And also, starting next week, we are going on hiatus from our daily programs, working to prepare new seasons and shows with amazing patient stories. So in the meantime, we have selected some of our very favorite episodes to rebroadcast over the summer. So we hope you enjoy those encore presentations. And of course, we'll see you back here this fall.
Subscribe to our morning medical update and open mics with Dr. Stites podcasts. Now, everywhere podcasts are available.